Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to go through and we are going to do famous symbol recreations or famous logo recreations using Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to show you how to use some shape builder tools, pen tool, some other tools to recreate these famous logos here on this page. Okay, so you're going to start by creating a new document, size 10 by 10 inches in Illustrator. Make sure to add color. It must be the same colors that are in the logo. And then finally, you're going to save your Illustrator file and turn it into Google Classroom. So the first thing I'm going to do is open this file in Illustrator, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we are going to download this first Logos 1 PNG. So you're going to click on the file, and you're going to click on the three dots, hit open in new window, and hit the download arrow. Once it downloads, you're going to go to Google Classroom. We're only going to use this for reference, okay? And then, sorry, not Classroom, Illustrator. And you're going to place it on your artboard right on the side. So we're going to go to File, Place. Look for that file. And you're going to hit Place. I'm going to move it over. So you can put it on the top, you can put it on the side. It's really up to you where you place it. Again, you're only using this for reference, okay? So the first thing we're actually, so we're gonna place it right here. Once it's placed on here, I'm gonna lock that layer so it doesn't move. So I'm gonna actually trace over this first one, okay? So I'm gonna lock that picture layer, that's this one that I just placed on here. So now it won't move. All right, so with this first one, I would use the pen tool. Okay, so remember, the pen tool is a little janky. It's going to take some practice, so be patient with yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a starting point. It doesn't really matter where you start. I'm going to start right here and go this way. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click here. And when I click, I'm not going to let go of the click, but I'm going to pull a curve. Okay, so I want the curve to go up, so I need to pull my handle down. Okay, and then I'm going to let go. Then I'm going to take my point. It's got a little tail, and I'm going to click back on this point right here. Okay, that gives me a straight line. Then I'm going to click here just one time. I'm going to click here. Okay, so I'm filling in with a color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this out for the stroke color. So I'm going to turn off my fill. Okay, so if your fill color is on, make sure it's off. So you're going to click right here. And then I'm going to change this to something that I can see as I'm drawing. Hit OK. So I want it to be a stroke or an outline. Okay, so with your pen tool, what you want to do is about halfway in the curve. So that'd be right about here is where you're going to want to pull it. Okay, so I'm going to click and pull. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it up to the top, and I'm going to click and pull this way. Then I'm going to go back to this point to make a straight line, and I'm going to click. I might need to zoom in. And then I'm going to click right here. Okay, so here I'm going to click and pull down. Here you can see it's like curving, but you want to do this in as few anchor points as possible. So I'm going to click and pull up. And then I'm going to click right here. Okay, that gives me a straight line. So I'm going to click. This is a small curve, so I'm going to click and give a slight curve up. Go back and click on the point. Click. This is a straight line. Click. Halfway in the curve. Let's see if I can go all the way to the end. So I'm going to click and pull at an angle. So again, as few points as possible is best. Okay, so that was pretty good. So I'm going to click here, click, straight line. This is a little tiny curve, so click and give it a little curve. This one, I'm going to go to the end, click and pull. Probably should have done that one halfway. That's okay. We'll go here. Click And then I'm going to come down here. This one actually, yeah, I'm going to stop it right where I started. See that little circle at the end of my pen tool? That means that's where I started. If I click there, it will close my path. Okay, so I need to fix this point and bring it down just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go to my direct selection tool, and I'm going to double click on this point, and I can move it around where I need it to be. Okay, and then it's kind of weird right here, so I can come back to this handle and see if I can adjust it to fit just right. Same thing with this one, so anytime you need to make adjustments, you can go back. Okay, so then it says to fill it in with a color that is the same color as my logo. So what I'm going to do is click back on my fill color, grab my eyedropper tool, and click inside the elephant. Now, when I turn off that layer, this is the one that I just drew. So if I bring it over here and compare it, this one's pixelated. That's why it's got those rough edges. This one is a vector drawing that I just made. That looks pretty good. Okay, this one can be scaled infinitely. All right, the next one is this eyeball. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier. This one we're going to use the shape builder tool. So let's go to our, we're going to start with, let's start with a circle. So I'm going to go to my ellipse tool, and I'm going to put my cursor right in the center. I'm going to hold Shift and Option, and I'm going to drag out a circle. Okay. And then I'm going to put it right here so I can see what I'm doing. And then I have a circle in the middle, so I'm going to change the color of that so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw out another circle that's the same size. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to change this color so I can see the difference. And then it's got this cutout shape here. So what I'm going to do for that is I am actually going to draw out an oval. So let's go. So I don't want to draw. Let's go right about there. Okay, so it doesn't have those points that I need. So what I need to do is click on my shape, and then I'm going to go to, let's see, where's my option? Let's expand it. So I'm going to hit expand. Okay, and then we're going to go to our point tools, which are not showing up here, and I don't know where they're at. Okay, so I'm going to click on these endpoints right here with my direct select arrow, the white arrow. I'm going to click, and when I click, it's going to change my control bar up here. So what I want to do is hit convert to a corner, and then click on this one, convert to corner. Okay, and then I can go back to my selection tool, move it kind of on top of it, and then I can come back in and kind of shape it. It's a little off, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to change this color so I can see what is going on. So I'm going to, what I want to do is I want to move this here, and I'm going to put this here. So what I'm going to do is cut this shape out of this circle. So I'm going to select both of my shapes. So I click and drag across to select both of them. And then I'm going to use my shape builder tool. So that's this one. So if I hold the option key, you can see that it changes from a plus to a minus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just click and drag like I'm drawing a line through that shape. And that subtracts from that shape. And then I can put this in there. Okay, Then I'm going to change the color of all of these to black. So I'm going to click and drag across to select all of them. Go to my eyedropper tool and click on that black. Okay, so there's my second one. So finally, I'm going to, let's see, let's move this guy. I'm going to unlock this and move it right here. So I can kind of have some room for this guy. Let's put him right here. Okay, so these are shapes. So what shapes could I use to create this guy? So I'm going to use my, let's go with the rounded rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to draw out a rectangle. About the same size. That looks good. And then I need to, let's see, round at the top part right here. So I'm going to double click on this point and I'm going to pull it in. Not all the way, maybe like that. So if you look, it tells me I rounded it let's go 0.5. And then the left side, I'll do the same thing. So 0.5, I'm going to pull it into 0.5. That looks a little square still, so I think I'll probably pull it in some more. That looks good. So what I did is I just clicked one time and it pulled them both in. Okay, so to 0.66. And then I can kind of put it up there and that looks good. This one I'm actually going to pull back out. This one I'll pull back out. Okay, so now I need to cut it in half. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use my rectangle tool and I'm going to make a rectangle that's just about as big as this piece right here. And then I can go back here and move it right about there. Let's change the color so you can see it. Okay, and then I'm going to select both of those pieces. I'm going to go to my shape builder tool and then I'm going to hold the option key to subtract and I'm just going to draw a line through, oops, so I made a mistake, so I have to do undo, Command Z. I'm going to click and drag a line right here. Oh, I forgot to hold option. Holding option, click and drag a line. And then I'm going to have to come over here and do the same thing because you can't see it, but it still has that little piece, okay? So holding option, I'm going to come over here and click and drag a line. All right, so now I have two separate pieces, right? So that they can move independently of each other. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a rounded rectangle for the arms, for the legs, and some circles for the eyes. So I'm going to go to my rounded rectangle tool and I'm going to use this for reference. So I'm just going to draw out an arm, move it over here, right about there. Actually, right about there. And then I'm going to make the copy. So holding option, I can click inside that shape and drag over. Okay, and then I'm going to make some legs. So again, holding option, I'm going to click and drag and put the leg, one leg right here, and then make a copy, one leg right here. Okay, so I want to build these pieces into one shape. So I'm going to use my shape builder tool. So I'm going to click and drag through, click and not holding option, just the plus, the add, click and drag through. Okay, so the last couple things, the eyeballs and the little antennas. So for the antennas, we can either do a rounded rectangle, okay, and just kind of make them tiny, or you could use the line tool. Let's see, I'm gonna have to zoom in for this one. So Command plus. So because it's so small, it keeps wanting to rotate it rather than moving it. So you're gonna have to be careful with that. All right, so I'm gonna make a copy. So if I right click, I can also make a copy, and I can go to transform, reflect, and then I can reflect it horizontal or vertical. I can change my angle, but I can hit copy and it'll make a copy, and I can just place it right about there. And then if I zoom out, command minus. Okay, so I want to build this shape. So I'm going to select all of my pieces, use my shape builder tool, and just click and drag through those pieces. Okay, so I'm going to make my eyeballs. So I'm going to click and hold my ellipse tool. So this one, I'm going to change the color to white so you can see what happens when I, oops. So I don't want to select anything yet. Let's go here. And then, so I'm going to use this for reference, holding Option and Shift. I can drag out a circle and bring it over here. Looks like it's right about there. Holding the Option key, I can make a copy right about there. And then I'm going to subtract these pieces because they're actually just a negative shape. They're probably not even like a circle in there. They probably subtracted them because the fewer anchor points you have, so I'm holding Option and clicking and dragging, the better. Now, if I were to put this behind something, let's see, let me show you an example. So if I were to put it behind, put it on a website with a blue background and send this to the back, it would be transparent. If I left the eyeballs white, then they would be white. Okay, so that's what we call negative, the negative of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete this background. Okay, so when you are done, oh, I still need to change this color to green. I'm going to group these all together. Command G after I've selected them all. That will group them, or you can right click and go group. I need to change the color to green. Okay. So when you're done, you are going to get rid of your reference image, which is that background. So I'm going to click on it and drag it to the trash can. And I'm going to just kind of put these, oops, nice and neat up here at the top. I'm actually going to group this one together too because I think it's pieces. So it's all selected. Command G to group. Okay, so you're going to repeat that process with the other ones that are in Google Classroom. So these ones. Okay, so you're going to take some time and you're going to build these shapes. So these would be some probably curved lines. This one would be some rectangles or some squares. This one is going to be the pen tool. This one is some circles. This one is the rectangle tools. And then you just kind of angle it. This one, you could, let's see, you could use the pen tool. You could use the rectangle tool. This one is the Olympic rings. I'm going to show you how to do this one actually. Okay, so really quick, I want to show you another trick with a new tool to do the Olympic rings. So I'm going to download that file and I'm going to place it on my artboard. File, place, click on that, and I'm just going to drag it right here. Okay, so we're going to work on the Olympic rings. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ellipse tool and I'm going to draw out 5 rings. Okay, so they're all going to be the same size. So I'm going to hold Option and Shift, and I'm going to change them from a fill to an outline. Okay, so I just swapped between the two. Make sure your fill color is none. So you can either click here or you can come up here and turn off the fill color. Change my outline color to whatever color that first ring is. I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool. Oops. And pick that color. Okay, so it's going to fill it in, so I have to swap it again. I'm going to increase the stroke weight to probably 4 or 5. It depends on how big your circle is. Okay, so I'm going to make some copies of this. So I'm holding Option. I'm going to click and drag. So I want a little bit of space between the 3 up top. And then I'm going to make 2 more copies down below. So I'm holding Option and I'm going to click and drag and just kind of overlap them. Right now, it looks like they're linked, but they're not. Okay, so we're going to change the colors real quick. So this is going to be black. So let's go black. Again, I'm going to have to come in and change this to 4. Oh, it didn't change my color. Okay, it's being silly. It should be 4. Change this color to red. Change this one to yellow. See if we can grab it. I don't know what it's going to do. It's being kind of weird. Swap the color, increase the stroke weight. And then the last one is green. So I would pick the colors up here, but it's honestly, it's not going to be the same color. So, and you're probably going to have to zoom in to grab the right color. So using my eyedropper tool, and then I'm going to swap. Okay, so if you look at the rings, they're linked, right? So this one goes behind the blue one. This one goes behind the black one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to select the blue one and the yellow one, and I need it to put it behind right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to Object, Intertwine, Object, Intertwine, Make. Okay, then I get this little lasso looking thing. So what I'm going to do is circle these pieces right here, and that's going to let them intertwine. Okay, it's pretty cool. So actually I'm going to select everything and just do them all at once. So the black and the green, so Object, Intertwine. Let's see. So I think I have to do them all at the same time. So I'm going to go back. Okay, so I'm going to select all of them. Object, Intertwine, Make. Okay, so I want this piece to make, and I want this piece to be made, and I need this one, and looks like this one. Okay, so that's a cool way to intertwine your shapes without like having to cut things and put them behind and all of that. So that is a cool way to make the logo. So I'm going to actually grab them all. I don't want this one. Why is it grabbing that piece? I don't know why. Oh, they're all grouped. Okay, so I made a mistake. When I intertwined them, I grabbed that piece, and so it kind of thinks that it's a group, which I don't want it to think that. So let's see if I can exit out of isolation mode. Okay, so I'm not able to, if I go to edit, let's see. Oh, I didn't realize that tool was up there. Okay, so let's go release, and then it'll release it. But then I have to go back in and do them all again. So Object, oh my gosh, Intertwine, Make. I want this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and use the shape builder tool, the shape tools. You're gonna recreate as many of these as you can within the time allowed in class. When you're done, you're gonna delete this guy and you're going to save your file to your Google Drive. put it in My Drive, put it in your graphics design project, and hit save, and you'll turn your file into Google Classroom.